Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Black Ops 2 In Depth. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about Peacekeeper strategies and some corrections because I made a few mistakes in my last episode. I was up all night, all day, the previous day, testing really hard, really fast, and I goofed a few things up, so we're going to do those corrections first, and then we're going to move into strategies. I thought it was important to discuss strategies about the Peacekeeper because this weapon is just very poorly understood, and not a lot of people have a good feel for how it should be used. The thing I want to say up front that is not a correction, this is something I guess more of a correction for others. The damage dealt by this weapon is 33 to 18. That's 33 damage up close. It'll decrease all the way out to 18 at a distance. That makes it 4 to 6 shots to kill. A lot of people are telling me it's 4 to 5 shots to kill. It's effectively 4 to 5 shots to kill because that range at which it drops down to 6 is really far away. Matter of fact, it was so far away it was almost all the way across carrier. So effectively it's about 4 to 5, but technically it's 4 to 6. Let's make sure that's on track. I totally screwed up the headshot multiplier when I was doing that first episode on the Peacekeeper. That's what happens when you do things in a matter of hours. Sometimes you goof things up. I said it had no multiplier. Actually, it has a 1.1x headshot multiplier. What this means for you is that it takes a 1 less shot to kill to the head at any range. That's a bunch of body shots, a headshot, bunch of headshots. No matter how you're shooting somebody, you mix a headshot in there, it's 1 less shot to kill. Because of that, headshots are useful at all ranges. If you think you've got the skill to go for a headshot, go for it. It'll make you kill somebody faster. Definitely a good idea. The Peacekeeper SMG has movement speed like a submachine gun. That's why it's classed in the submachine gun class. A lot of people are like, well, you know, it's kind of a hybrid between the assault rifle and the SMG. How fast does it move? A lot of people ask me this question, and I didn't know and I didn't test it, and I was embarrassed because of that. I did test it today. It has submachine gun movement speeds, and it receives the same benefits that the stock has on a submachine gun, namely when you have the stock on it and you're aiming down sights, you can move at 100% of your normal speed, which is very fast for moving while aiming down sights. This next part is highly technical, so I'm just going to glaze over it. Call of Duty games are based on a very old engine. The engine for Call of Duty Black Ops 2 is essentially the same as Call of Duty 1, except it's been modified and tweaked and worked on and, you know, spiffed up and patched and whatnot. Because of this, there are some quirks, and one of the most common quirks is that the engine is not smart enough to handle events that happen between frames. If you're 30 frames a second or 60 or 100, it can't handle anything that happens in between frames. It's not a constant engine, it just jumps from frame to frame. Because of that, your rate of fire is based on your frames per second. This is going to make more sense to PC players. Higher rates of fire typically are associated with higher FPS, but it also has to deal with how it rounds. So you get this weird sort of function that even sometimes somebody with a lower FPS can shoot faster than you because of a weird rounding error in the game. What this means for everybody else is that the guns are going to shoot at different rates on Xbox, on PS3, and on PC. A lot of different rates on PC, and it's going to fluctuate in different areas of the map when your frame rate changes, when there's lots of particles, when there's lots of smoke. And what happened here is when I tested the rate of fire on the Peacekeeper on Xbox, I was getting a more, what would I say, like an effective rate of fire or an instantaneous rate of fire for exactly where I was standing and not for the technical game code. Because of that, I was a little bit off on the base rate and I was very far off on the rapid fire rate. The game code rate of fire for the Peacekeeper is 720 RPM. This is the same as the PDW and the MSMC, so they shoot at the same speed. The rapid fire rate of fire is technically supposed to be, if you're running at the right FPS, it's 1136 if you're running rapid fire. In most cases, you're not going to be at that FPS, and it's going to be lower, closer to 1000 or 900 in the case of Xbox. But these are the technical rates of fire, how it should work in an ideal situation, but it's going to fluctuate a lot just kind of depending on what's going on. I tested out the Peacekeeper. It has SMG style wall penetration. A lot of you guys asked me if it had an assault rifle or an SMG wall penetration or something in between. It was very hard to test the wall penetration, but I would say if anything it has SMG style penetration. Now we're going to skip into the actual strategies part now that I've done a little bit over 4 minutes of corrections. And the strategy part has to start with this statement. The Peacekeeper is terrible at close range. Even while I was filming this in the open lobby that people came in through Twitter from, I had subscribers telling me, I love this gun at close range. This is the best close range gun. And it's like it totally dominates the MP7 at close range. No, it doesn't. The MP7 dominates this gun at close range. The MSMC dominates this gun at close range. The PDW, the Scorpion, this is the worst SMG in the game for close quarters combat because it takes 4 shots to kill and it shoots slow. You're going to kill somebody very, very slowly at close range. All the other SMGs are going to glomp on you in close range combat. Some of the assault rifles too. This Peacekeeper is also terrible at long range, and when I say long range, I'm talking about very, very long range. I'm not talking about medium long, I'm talking about extreme ranges, sniper ranges, SCAR H ranges, M8A1 ranges, those kind of ranges. The Peacekeeper SMG has very low recoil for a submachine gun, low recoil for an assault rifle-ish, but not low enough to compete at very, very long ranges. So you can't use it up close, and you can't use it far away. However, this weapon is very good at medium range. The ideal situation in which to use the Peacekeeper is at medium range, especially avoid the close. It's way better at long than it is at close, but this gun is the monster of medium range. A lot of people ask, is it overpowered? Is it unbalanced? No, the balancing factor in the medium range is that it has a slow time to kill. Even at medium range, it doesn't kill particularly fast. It's not the most lethal. It's not going to drop people instantly, but that's balanced by having a very low recoil. It's a lot like the M27 statistically. It kills kind of slow, but it has very, very low recoil, so it's very easy to keep your shots on target, and where a lot of the other more technically, mathematically faster killing weapons you would be missing, the Peacekeeper you're probably not going to miss very much, and it might have a effectively faster time to kill, effectively more lethal. You're not going to miss your shots. And that's the balancing factor. It does have low recoil, but it's easy to control. You have to put a little skill into it. It's not quite like an ACR, but it is very dangerous. Knowing this, what you want to do is mostly what you've seen me do here on Hijacked. I haven't been going up and getting in people's faces a lot. You want to avoid close quarters combat, and you want to force medium range engagements. You can do long range a little bit with this weapon. What you really, really want to do is force a medium range engagement, either where you can pop back and forth behind cover really fast because it has submachine gun sidestepping abilities, or in an area where you can use some manner of mobility or accuracy to your advantage, because in medium range combat, you're going to shred people with this weapon, with the exception of, obviously if you get quick scoped or blown up or something, that's not going to work. Close quarters combat, pretty much everything else is going to beat you. Long ranges, a lot of the snipers, LMGs, about half the assault rifles are going to tear you up. Just stick with medium range and force medium range. Don't go for anything else. And you don't want to run attachments that aren't good for medium to long ranges. Number one, I think that this gun has good iron sights. They're not the best in the game, but they're very clear. I can use them. However, the ranges that I want to use this gun at, the medium to long ranges, the iron sights are a little bit too blocky for that, so I usually go for optics. I'm kind of a red dot fan on this gun. I've used the EOTech a bit, and I've used the millimeter scanner a bit, but I never found them quite as useful as the good old-fashioned red dot. I'm going to tell you the Peacekeeper is very, very nice with the red dot sight. It helps keep you on target. It's very easy to see how the recoil is working, and while it may not improve the weapon's accuracy, you're going to feel more accurate. Because of that, this is my recommended class. It's actually a primary gunfighter class. I recommend quick draw handle because it aims down sights a little bit faster than an assault rifle, a little bit slower than a submachine gun, and I'm kind of a big fan of quick draw. I like aiming down sights very, very quickly, and since they fixed the ADS delay, I like snapping to aiming down sights. That's very effective. So I recommend that you use that, and I also recommend that you use fast mags. Fast mags is going to help you a lot because it takes a lot of shots to kill with the Peacekeeper. You're going to be reloading a lot. Fast mags has always helped me reload very, very quickly, get back into the action. It's very effective. Lastly, the red dot sight that we've talked about, it's going to help keep you accurate on target. The perks are really up to you. You can use this same attachment setup. You can build a camper class with flak jacket. You can build a Russian class with lightweight. You could maybe drop one of these attachments and put a silencer on, but I feel that that really nerfs the range. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about after the class recommendation is which attachments are going to be best, and I'm going to tell you 3 attachments that are not good for this weapon, 3 attachments that you should not use. Number 1 is do not use rapid fire. The instinct is, oh, well, this gun shoots slow, but it has excellent range and low recoil. If I put rapid fire on it, it's going to shoot very fast, and the range and recoil will hang in there. What happens is when you put rapid fire on it, it basically turns into the MP7, but with a smaller magazine and a wasted attachment perk. When you put rapid fire on it, it has the exact same range, exact same shots to kill, and basically the same recoil as the MP7, but with a smaller magazine. And I see that as just a waste when you could just run the MP7. When you put the silencer on the weapon, you reduce the range by 30%. Because it is a very long-range SMG, this isn't the worst of tactics. You can totally do it. It doesn't penalize you too much. If you want to run Ghost, this is one of the better SMGs for that. But I feel that you can do better. I feel that the strength of this weapon is in its crazy range, and you don't want to hurt that at all. Lastly, I'm going to recommend that you don't run long barrel, and this is going to sound very crazy, like, well, it's a good range gun, and you just said the strength is the range. Why don't you want to improve the range? Long barrel improves the range on the Peacekeeper more than it does any other submachine gun, just because it has that crazy range to be multiplied by 15%. You add long barrel, you get 15% range. The problem is, the range is already so crazy on the Peacekeeper that you're not going to need 6 shots to kill until you're almost all the way across carrier. So if you add long barrel to it, your range gets beyond crazy. It's just overkill. You don't need it. Your range is excellent as is. You don't need long barrel. You definitely don't need rapid fire. Suppressor's kind of give and take. I'm more of a take. I don't really like it. So my recommendation is that you don't play with any sort of attachments that modify the range. The range is excellent as is. Lastly, don't use FMJ because it doesn't add damage. FMJ does not add damage. Don't bother with it. Well guys, that's all for this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you learned something useful. If you'd like to check out my previous episode on the Type 25, you can click the box on the left. If you'd like to check out my next episode, which is going to be on the MTAR Assault Rifle, you can click the box on the right. As always, if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.